Alright, so part 2 of the Corsa B project Bodge. I'm still waiting on the parts coming, but I should start getting some today, tomorrow. But they're all easy bits. The other worst bit that we've got to do is the outriggers. So I've got it up on the axis stance. Just to have a look in between jobs, and yeah, it doesn't look pretty, but at first glance, it was these holes here that the tester was pointing at, but I don't know if you'll be able to hear. This is all paper thin, and if you can see up in that. Anyway, can't really get the angle, but up in there it's pretty rusty looking, and it's soft on this wall here. So this thing definitely wants a proper shell strip and rebuild, but for the time being I just want it on the road for summer. I don't really want to cut this bit out because it'll just lead on to doing this bit here and the chassis leg that runs along in there as well, and it'll just drag out this job. And once I start something like that, it's got to be done properly. I'd rather wait until it's time for doing the proper rebuild to do all that stuff. So as it's Project Bodge this year, I'm just going to clean all this out, blow it all out, and then I'm even too scared to take the little wire wheel over this. Anyway, I'll clean it up a little bit, and then I'm just gonna use some chemical metal, and then just smooth a layer of that over, and then maybe tidy it up, sand it back a little bit, and then just bang some I forgot all my words today. Seam sealer on it and a bit of undercoat, and it'll look alright. And it's rock hard, that stuff, when it's set, so when the MOT tester goes over it with his toffee hammer, it'll be fine, because the MOT is only a visual inspection really. So yeah, it's just to show how easy it is to pass an MOT if you bodge stuff. So yeah, I'm going to go and try and do that and see how it turns out. Now, that's all rock hard again, so it's enough to keep the MOT tester happy. I'll just give it a quick sand, just to smooth it up a bit, and then fire on the under seal, and then I'll do the other side. Right, so I'm onto the driver's side now, but what's actually happened is, I don't know if you can see, but someone's actually done away with that outrigger part that goes on here, and it's just a flat floor. But there was a tiny hole in the corner, and I pulled this out, which is like I forget the name of this stuff, but it's like it's a rubberized silicone stuff. So it was in there like that, and the tester could see a little hole up in the corner there, so I've just pulled it all out, and yeah, now you can see a great big hole. And I'm pretty sure if I pulled all that out, someone's just welded this box section in here, and that would be all whole as well. So yeah, it's just, there's been bodgers on it before me, obviously. Alright, so the more I look at this thing, the worse it is. But we'll worry about it later on. So I've got a few bits delivered. So I already had the cap, but I've got this front pipe I'm going to put on. And then I got a fitting kit as well for the baffle between there and there, so hopefully that goes on okay. Getting the studs out of the manifold will be the problem. I see there's one already broken in there. I've got the new handbrake cable, but I did free it off the other day, so we'll see how we get on with that. And then I got the horn switch. Now, because I didn't want to butcher this dash in case I restored it in the future, but the shell, the more I look at it, the worse the shell is, so it might be worth reshelling or something, I don't know. So I'm just gonna cut a hole in here and put the horn there. I was just gonna join the wires there, but the horn, and I should know better, having just not long passed my MOT course, the horn has to be fixed, so I'm gonna have to put it onto the dash. Doesn't matter where the horn is, as long as it's fixed. So yeah, I'll drill a hole here somewhere and put it on there, and then I can connect these two wires up to it, and that'll get the horn working. But I'm going to go and see if I can get this exhaust off first, because it's about 6:30 and I'm getting hungry. So if it doesn't come off, I'm going to call it there for the night, go and get my dinner, don't worry about it tomorrow. So I'll see how we get on. Yep, so you can see the one that's been broken off. And if you're familiar with these Corsas, then it's always that one that breaks for some reason. So I'm going to see how I get on with the other three. I have warmed up the engine a bit, but I might have to run it. Sometimes I run the engine until they free off themselves, because that one's going to snap as well. So I'll go and faff about with these. So I've got the exhaust off, but all the bolts snapped in the manifold, flush as well, so I'll have to drill them out. I'll have to take the manifold off. Hopefully the studs don't break off in the head. But I don't really have time to do that today. I'm busy with other things, but I just got a delivery of the brake discs. Quinton Hazel. Forgot how good this stuff was, the Quinton Hazel. It's always the preferred choice for Vauxhalls back in the day. So the other side cleaned up alright, but this side is quite corroded, so I had already ordered them anyway, so I've got this side done. And that will keep the tester happy. I'm going to do the other side, and I'm going to try and put the horn in the dash. And then that's probably all I can do today, because I've got to crack on with some other stuff. So yeah, we're getting there, slowly but surely. We've got the brake discs on, and I got the ball joint just after I finished the disc, so I threw it on as well. And in between jobs today, I took the manifold off, and I've drilled all the studs out and put fresh ones in. So I'm just going to throw this back on the car quickly while I'm waiting for some parts, and then I can get the front pipe and the cat on later on tonight, hopefully. Now I've got the exhaust back on. But it's an absolute bollock to get it to seal. It's just fluffing it ever so slightly. And these things have never been great to pass emissions anyway. Especially, you know, a cold start with these things, they smoke like mad. So we'll just have to try it and see, and if it's gonna fail, then I'll just have to see how bad it fails, whether it's on the lambda or the CO2. But it's a new cat, so I'll need to run it in. And I've just finished off fitting the push button horn, although I haven't tried it yet. I'm sure it'll work. Yeah, it's fine. So yeah, we're getting through the list. The only other thing is, what was it? Oh yeah, the handbrake cable was was a fail because it wasn't pulling on one side. The handbrake is working perfect now, but I freed that brake cylinder off early in the week, and the car's just been sitting, and I think it might be sticking slightly again because if I push the brake pedal all the way down it, and I can still turn the wheel. I have to use a fair bit of force, but I can still turn the wheel. But I've got to put wheel bearings in yet, so I'll wait until they come. It's the last bit, and then I'll strip it down and have a look at it again. Maybe free it off and do everything just before the retest so everything's working smoothly. And then hopefully, I think that's it. I think that's all I've got to do, apart from the emissions is the only thing I'm worried about, even with a new cat and everything on it. These things still are rubbish. Well, we'll see how it goes anyway. I'll wait until the bearings come, hopefully tomorrow, Friday. So I probably won't get it retested till next week, unless they come first thing in the morning, which would be handy because then I could put it down, and if it fails on emissions, then I can faff about with that over the weekend. So we'll see how it goes. Right, so it's Friday lunchtime. I got the wheel bearings this morning from the postie, which was great. So I fired the wheel bearing on, and then I booked it in. Well, I took it straight down for the retest. So everything passed except for the emissions as suspected. And it didn't just fail by a bit, I mean it was miles out. I've never seen emissions so far out, ever. But I mean, I knew it would fail because it stinks, it's running rich. And the engine light came on the way back from the testing station, so I'm going to have a look at that. But I mean, it's so far out, I don't know where to start. Usually like your coolant temperature sensor, map sensor, and the O2 sensor would be the main culprits. But I mean, this is miles out. But I don't stress about it too much. I'm glad I got it done this morning. It gives me time to think about it over the weekend. Because I don't want to spend too much or any more money on this thing until I can get it through emissions. Because if I can't get it through emissions, then it'll be the end of Project Bodge. Because I'm not spending any money on this thing, or any more than I have to. So first things first, I'll go and see what the code is, and then we'll just start from there and read all the sensors. So it's coming up with the O2 sensor mixture lean and the EGR again, but yeah, So I've got all that to play about with. So I can't think because I've got some other job on my head just now, so I think I'll just leave this for now and finish the other job first, and then I'll come back to this. Right, so I've pulled the O2 sensor out after a bit of a struggle. I thought I was going to pull the threads out with a manifold, but yeah, a bit of lubricant working it back and forward seems to have got it out. And so this sensor was working, or looked as though it was working okay on the live data, although it came up as a fault code that it was running lean, the O2. So, and I've never seen this before, but I pulled the O2 sensor out, and look at that, it's completely broken, which is both unbelievable and good news, I think. So I've got a new sensor coming. It won't come till Monday now. So I was almost, because the live data was given the correct reading for this, which is bizarre. So I was almost going to go past this onto the next thing, but it's just the way that I work. I always just have to check stuff myself. I just have to see it working myself. Live data is great and stuff for some stuff, but I'm just a bit old school like that. I just like to have it off and bench test it myself. And well, this is definitely buggered, so I'm hoping this is the, I mean, it's bound to be the fault, there's no doubt about it, or at least one of the faults. So yeah, I'll get the sensor on Monday. I'll put it in and see if I'll know straight away if it's made any difference, because it just stinks of fuel, this thing, absolutely stinking of fuel. So this Corsa is proving difficult to get through emissions. So I had the new cat on it, and so the emissions were sitting at 0.56 CO. And the new cat sensor, the new O2 sensor, obviously made a massive difference. So the Lambda reading's perfect. So this is just a cheap cat, but it is still a type approved, I think. So my buddy had a Corsa he just bought as well, which just passed emissions with the original cat on, so we took that off and put it on here, and it's exactly the same at 0.56. It's just not moving at all, no matter what we do. So I've got to somehow work out how to bring the emissions down. I mean, I don't like throwing parts at motors, but I'm really desperate just to get this through an MOT. I can't really spend any more time on it. So I cannot get this car through emissions. It just won't move from 0.56 CO. I've got the new O2 sensor in. I've checked all the sensors, the coolant sensor, the air sensor. Everything works good. The map sensor reads correctly. I can't get cylinder 2 plug out. It's in really tight. Don't really want to force it just yet. So I'm just looking for air leaks and stuff. But I've checked the timing. The timing's perfect. So I decided, I don't know why, I decided to rub up the engine down here to see what the engine code was. And this engine is a Z16XE. So not an X16XE, which is what it should be. So then I thought, I'll plug in the opcom because I can read more stuff, or I thought I could read more stuff than the snap-on machine did. So I've gone to automatic ECU interrogation, and it's come up that the ECU is an X16XE. So yeah, exciting stuff. So we've got the spark plugs out. Finally got cylinder 2 out. And yeah, they all look good. They're a light brown tan colour, which is perfect. Apart from cylinder 3, which it looks like it's tan on there, but it's actually a little black sooty, and it's wet up and down the threads. I don't know if you can see that. I maybe can't see it. But it's really wet, so now I'm suspecting that I've got maybe a leaking injector here. So I'll need to look into that. I'm going to go and have a look down the bore because it's just running just a little bit too rich. Close to perfect, but it's still on the rich side, and that's why I can't get it through emissions. So I need to find out what's going on. So I'm going to go and inspect the injector and see if it's leaking. Well, just back from the MOT station again, and nah, it's just not moving. It's a little bit better. 0.42 now it's sitting at on the CO. It comes well within spec at idle. Then the lambda goes miles out. Well, not miles out, but just outside where it wants to be. But as soon as you lift the revs to 2.5, 3,000, it just goes nowhere. So points towards a cat for me anyway, but I'm not away to spend 300 quid on a type approved cat. It's not worth 300 quid to me, that car. So oh, it's not worth me spending 300 quid on a cat on it anyway, because it's just it's not great. It's not a great mower. It's not something I'm wanting to spend that money on. It's just a quick toy. But everything else had passed on, so that, you know, the chemical metal, bodge repair and stuff like that. If it wasn't for the emissions, it would have an MOT on it. But apart from not wanting to spend stupid money on it, I just don't have the time. I'm just too busy with other things. I'm trying to get a motor for pulling my trailer. I'm trying to get started with that. So I've been out looking at discos. I haven't found one I like yet. Although the only conclusion I've come to is I like the old Disco 2s a little bit better than the 3s now. So so I'm probably just going to list this car for spares or repairs, and I'm away to pull out the GSI, because all of this stuff here, all those wheels, engines, everything under there, axles, subframes, all the stuff up there, and that 5-door turbo outside is just jam-packed with stuff for the GSI. The seats up the back there. I'm just getting fed up with this stuff now. So I'm going to pull the GSI out and take it down for an MOT. Because I think I've said in previous videos that, I mean, the Astra GSI is nice, but it's not. I'm not into it like I was with the Vectras and the Cavaliers. So I might try and. Nah, I don't want to speak too soon. I was going to say I might try and shift them on, but it's probably worth hanging on to for a little bit longer, that thing. I'm getting right into Landies now. That's the problem, and they're just as bad a money pit. So yeah, unfortunately we can get the Corsa through an MOT, but yeah, I mean I showed you all the repairs, how easy they were to bodge, and they were accepted on the retest. It's just the emissions were no good, and like I say, I'm not spending any more time or money on it. A decent cat, a type approved cat would probably sort it out, but I'm not spending no money on it. So that'll be the end of this little Corsa project. If it sits around the back, it sits around the back, and if someone gives me enough money for it, then they can have it. So yeah, it's a shame. It is what it is. Never mind. On to the GSI.